Interest rates can be seen as the gas and brakes of the economy. Over the past year, the Bank of Canada has been hitting the brakes hard. It's raised the interest rate 8 times, which made borrowing money more expensive, all in the hopes of curbing inflation. But yesterday, the bank took its foot off the pedal, announcing it plans to hold the key interest rate steady at 4.5%. So what does this mean for our economy and our pocketbooks, particularly here in the prairies? Well, Carolyn Rogers was born here in Winnipeg and is now Senior Deputy Governor of the Bank of Canada. Earlier today, she spoke to business leaders at the Manitoba Chambers of Commerce, but she joins us now here in studio. Good afternoon.
Hi, Julie.
And welcome home, I guess.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Now, what did you hear from people today at the Manitoba Chambers of Commerce?
Well, we heard a lot about how inflation's affecting Manitobans, businesses and consumers. It's been a tough go. Inflation's been too high. It's still too high. But we are seeing early signs that monetary policy is working. And that was really why we announced a pause. We're waiting to see an accumulation of evidence tell us inflation is going in the right direction. We're not where we were last summer at 8%, but we're still at 5.9%. That's well above our 2% target. So we've got a ways to go. But we are committed to getting back down to 2%.
What are the signs that you're seeing that things are turning in a more positive direction?
Well, inflation itself is coming down. As I said, it peaked last summer at just above 8, but we're down to 5.9 now. A couple of the signs we're seeing, when we look at sort of the nearer-term measures, we call it the momentum measure, what the 3-year change or the 3-month change is, that's coming down closer to our target. We are seeing demand cooling. The parts of the economy that are most sensitive to interest rates, housing is the example that we always use. That's cooled off quite a bit. So, we do see early signs that monetary policy is working.
Now, interest rates impact business loans, and many local businesses are still struggling to recover from the pandemic. What's your message to business people here in Manitoba who are struggling with inflation themselves while trying to pay back their loans?
That we're committed to getting inflation back to target. We know inflation is tough on Canadians. We know interest rate increases have also been tough, but they are what we need to cool demand and let supply catch up, get the economy back in balance. And we are committed to getting inflation back to 2%. What we heard from Manitoba businesses today at the Chambers of Commerce is that is their number one concern. They want price stability back. They want to be able to plan. And that's what we're committed to do for them.
How much does the Bank of Canada take the prairies into account when considering whether to lower or raise interest rates?
Well, we only have one tool, and that's our policy rate. It's the same rate for all Canadians. But we do take, we have offices across the country, and when we're making our monetary policy decisions, we're talking to people in all provinces, businesses and consumers. So it's really important to us to hear from people across this country. I've spent time last night, I'll spend time today and this evening talking to Manitoba business owners.
How often do you do that kind of trip?
Well, regularly, and we have staff in offices across Canada, too, that do it on a more regular basis. And every time we make a monetary policy decision, that's part of the information we take in, is what we are hearing from Canadians and from Canadian business owners.
Now, people are noticing that the interest rates in their savings accounts are noticeably lower than the interest rates on their loans these days. Should the interest rates in savings accounts be going up much more than they are?
Well, there's always a difference between interest rates in savings accounts and loans. Those interest rates, though, are set by commercial banks. We only set one interest rate. That's the overnight policy rate, and that's the rate off which commercial banks set their rates.
So what went into the decision to hold interest rates steady?
Well, really, we need a bit of time to assess how the economy is adjusting. We've done a lot. We've raised interest rates 425 basis points in a year. That's a lot. And the thing that we know about monetary policy is there's a bit of a lag. It takes time for the full effects to work their way through the economy. And we've seen some positive signs. Inflation's coming down a bit. But so, the plan really is to take a pause. Let's see how the economy is adjusting. Let's see if inflation continues to come down as we expect. If it does, we think we've raised interest rates enough. If, on the other hand, we see a reversal in the trend, if things start to pile up again and inflation goes the other direction, we're prepared to do more.
How long of a pause? How do you decide?
Again, it comes back to how the economy evolves. We'll be watching we'll be watching for signs to accumulate that inflation's going the right direction and continues to go that direction. We've got to get it back down to 2%. That's the target. So really, that's what we're aiming for.
So you were born here in the prairies and went to Brandon University?
I graduated Brandon University. I started at Manitoba University, though. Yeah.
Okay. So how much does your upbringing here impact the work you do now?
Wow, that's a good question. I think it comes back to the question you asked me earlier. Do we think about the whole economy, all the different parts of the economy? Canada's not one economy. There's a lot of diversity across Canada. We have a great team at the Bank of Canada. We have people from across the country. We have people on the governing council that come from different provinces. So we bring a diverse perspective.
What's your message to maybe someone who works in a small business here in Manitoba who feels like their voice isn't heard out on Bay Street, that their voice isn't as loud as someone on Bay Street in Toronto?
Well, I mean, I would say take advantage of the opportunities we have to reach out. If you're a business owner and you'd like the opportunity to talk to the Bank of Canada, we'd love to hear from you. We have a survey that we do with business owners every quarter whenever we make our forecast. We're always looking to recruit businesses to give us feedback. So we'd be happy to hear from you.
Even small?
Even small.
All right. Thanks for your time today, Carolyn.
Thanks, Julie.
Carolyn Rogers is Senior Deputy Governor of the Bank of Canada.